Absolutely. So you can have more than one life insurance policy. It's really going to be based on two things: what you can afford and what your goals are at the time that you're getting the policy. So most people think, Lindsay, I started a whole life policy years ago, so I can't get anything else. That's absolutely not true. I have 13 policies. As your income grows, you want to keep increasing your coverage, because if when I first started getting policies at 25 and I made under $100,000, when I'm covering my insurance, I'm typically covering 10 to 20 times my income. So if now you make, say, 500K now, you now need a different amount of insurance. If I purchase a house now, I want to cover my debt so that I can leave my house debt free to my family. So there's going to be different things that change over the time in your life, and you're going to need to adjust your insurance policies just like you adjust anything else. As things change, you adjust it. So the other common question I get about these policies are, can I have multiple types? So you can have a whole life, a term policy, a universal life policy. You don't only have to have one type of policy. You can have any of the types, you can have any of the variations of the types, and you can have as many as you can afford. This is the thing. When you're going from one policy to the next, the main thing you're paying attention to is what my total coverage is, right? So if I was to have a $100,000 whole life policy from when I was younger, and now I have kids and I have a mortgage and my mortgage is $1 million, well, now I need to add on another policy to cover the mortgage. So now I may have a $2 million term to cover my mortgage, but then I also have that 100K whole life that I had from before. So now that my income is higher, I also might want to add more permanent coverage, because the goal is that I increase my permanent coverage as my income grows, so that as if I have children or if I have a husband and I want more coverage over time, now that I make more income, I can invest in more permanent coverage, so later on my overall death benefit is higher. Why? Because if I was to outlive my term, I would no longer have my term. When I get older, I will only have my permanent policies. So you always want to make sure that when you're purchasing life insurance, you're being intentional about what you're doing. You want to make sure that your temporary policies, which are those term policies, are covering the things that you needed to cover for those specified amount of times. And then you want to also make sure that you're building your permanent coverage, so that over time your permanent coverage gets larger and larger, and it's able to cover whatever legacy you're trying to leave behind. Because your permanent coverage is really your legacy. That's what you're leaving behind for sure. Your term is just to protect things for a period of time.